Out on the trails again. This time in the South Pennines. So there's three reasons really why I've come out today. First one is we've had some pretty awful weather this November in the UK. Lots of rain. So there were a couple of nice days forecast, so I thought, you know what, I'm going to get out. Second reason, I have just purchased a new Lanshan 110 and I want to give it a go. So I'm going to be out overnight. And the third reason is I've always fancied a camp up on Black Hill for reasons which I'll explain later on. So that's where I'm heading for, up to Black Hill. This morning I caught the train to Marsden, which unfortunately was delayed, so I'm about an hour later starting than I wanted, but that's fine. And walked through the lovely little town of Marsden. It was very, very quiet and quite serene. It was lovely. And now I'm making my way up the Wessenden Valley, where I'll cross one of the Pennine roads at the top and then head up on towards Black Hill. Just past Butterley Reservoir, now walking above it. It's just a lovely, serene and calm morning. So this is something that's particularly annoying. I suspect here that somebody has been to the toilet round here, just left the toilet paper lying about, which takes a bit longer to decompose than you might think. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do the right thing here. I'm going to bury it. I mean, it really doesn't take a lot of effort. So all I've done is just dig a little hole with my trowel that I carry with me, and I'm just going to bury that now. Make sure that then can decompose and none of us have to look at it. One of the nice things about the walk up the Wessenden Valley is it's a really nice gentle gradient. Really good for trail running. I've run up here a few times. Must be pretty good for mountain bikers as well. But it's also lovely if you want to have a nice gentle amble in some winter sunshine. One of the nice things, of course, when there's been lots of rain, is that all the water courses and rivulets totally buzzing, really lively. Right, see if I can get across here without any wet feet. So why do I want to camp on Black Hill? Well, the reason's twofold, I guess. First is I have a bit of respect, if you like, and fear of Black Hill. So my first backpacking trip was an attempt, and I say attempt, on the Pennine Way in 1987. I was 21, and Black Hill in those days wasn't the nice paved trailer that it is now. And we got here after a period of quite heavy rain. We had to battle with horrific peat bogs that wore and wore us down. By the time we got to day 4, we were done, finished. But I guess that sparked my adventure. Came back the next year and we did it, having learnt a lot from that first trip. So I do have, yeah, a bit of respect for this hill. The second thing is where I live, on a nice clear day I can look out from my back garden and see Black Hill. And also on the night time, if it's nice and clear, I can see the lights of Home Moss. So I often find myself gazing out over there, looking out towards it. So I thought, you know what, it'd be nice to camp up there. So that's what I'm going to do. If I can find somewhere dry, that might be a challenge. My house then is right down there past Emily Moor, right in the distance. But the thing about Black Hill is, wherever you go in West Yorkshire where there's a bit of height, you can always see Black Hill. It looms large over West Yorkshire. You see, I knew it. Black Hill's got a dirty great black cloud over it. It's supposed to be sunshine today. Oh look, it's put a big black cloud over the top. It's got it in for me. Right, I'm approaching Soldier's Lump, the top of Black Hill. So Black Hill, when I went up it in 1987, was literally black. Bare, naked peat hags. Walking through it was just really, really hard work. But in 2003, there was a conservation project where I believe they put in 50 million fragments of sphagnum moss. And this is the result, and it is quite a remarkable transformation. It really is. From the black hags to something now that's quite green. I've got here as well the mast on Home Moss. It's about a kilometre away. See that for miles and miles around. And then looking over to the Peak District, Bleaklow over there, Edge of Kinder. Super. However, I am now leaving the paved trail and I'm going to head out on the old Pennine Way path out here, and then I'm going to see if I can find somewhere to camp. That's the plan. Could be a challenge because the ground is a little bit spongy, but we shall see. Oh, there's always somewhere. There's always somewhere. The people who put those paving slabs down did a fantastic job, I think. I think they were a bit controversial at the time. You know, they were taken away from the rawness, if you like, of places like this. But I think they just made them much more accessible to a lot of people, and that's got to be a good thing. However, no flagstones. I mean, you've got to cope with this lot. Right, I'm just on the sort of edge of the big plateau of Black Hill. Just dropped down a little bit, trying to get out of the wind. Oh, I tell you what, it's turned pretty chilly now. I've stopped walking, so I'm going to get the tent up very, very quickly. Got quite a nice view. It's not too shabby. Can see right over West Yorkshire. Lovely. Okay, the tent's up. I'm not quite sure how happy I am with it. I might go have a bit of a repeg, I think, a bit later. But first job now is to go get some water for a brew. A brew is needed. Right, brew is on. Yeehaw, warm me up. The tent's up. I kind of think I'm going to need to just go around, give it a good tightening up and peg out before I go to sleep. But aside from that, so far, yeah, quite happy. Seems to be plenty of room. Chuffed with that. And tonight it'll probably get a proper test condensation wise. I mean, it's probably perfect conditions for getting a lot of condensation. There's not a lot of wind. The ground's very, very damp and wet. It's also very cold. So, yeah, it'll be interesting to see how it copes with the condensation. Right, first up though, my brew. Yummy, yummy. Right, I finished my brew. Not sure how much of a sunset we'll have tonight, but certainly quite a wild looking sky. Oh, I'll tell you what, as soon as the sun goes down, that temperature's dropped. I'm going to get quite a good frost tonight, I think. Right, Time for some tea, I think. Right, this evening's turned into a bit of a pea super, really. It's the mist and cloud have come in. Yeah, can't see a thing. I was hoping I might get some starry skies to have a look at. No such luck. Anyway, I've got my brew. That's amazing, isn't it? Tell you what, I do like this Lanshan. You can open both doors. I didn't realise that till tonight. That's quite nice. Nice big open space. So yeah, that's pleasant enough. And yeah, it's going to be a cold night tonight, frosty, but it's fine. Hello, phone's giving it some as well. Somebody's after me. Yeah, well. But anyway, if the skies don't brighten up a bit, I'm going to turn in. Might listen to a bit of music. Oh, beautiful morning. Absolutely beautiful morning. Sun's just come up now. Tried to give it a little bit of warmth, but yeah, cold light last night. I mean, you can tell if I show you the tent. Pretty hard frost last night. But the wind did drop and the mist cleared. But yeah, good few degrees below, which will make walking nice actually this morning. Over the kind of peaty moorland. Should make progress quite good, but I'm just about to have my breakfast. And just lovely, yeah, just going to enjoy this morning as I have my breakfast. Now, as much as I love my Lanshan tents for backpacking 3 seasons, I don't think they're ideal in winter. Just to explain why, because last night before I went to sleep, I made sure all the pegging points were pulled out as tight as possible. But what's happened is as the frost's kind of formed on the tent, it's caused the tent to sag. So it pushes everything, the weight of that just pushes everything back in. So this morning when I woke up, it's a bit like when you've had really heavy snowfall on your tent. The inner space inside is definitely more compressed. So I was aware of that when I woke up this morning. The other thing, of course, as well is loads of condensation. I mean, you can't avoid it in this sort of conditions. You know, the ground was wet, it was a cold night, you're going to get lots of condensation. On the inside of the tent, at the moment, all that condensation is frozen, but obviously as the sun gets on that, it's going to start to melt. As it does, that's because it's going to drip all over my rucksack in there and everything that's in there. And it'll do the same on the interior as well. It'll probably drip onto the inner and probably wet the inner. Now if you take that compared to something like my geodesic dome, a Force 10 tent that I use in winter, that's got much steeper sidewalls. So what happens then is any condensation I just think runs off much easier. And you can also keep that separation better between the outer and the inner. So you don't have that problem of the inner getting wet. So a lovely tent though it is. I wouldn't be fancying packing that away and having to get it out later today if I was doing a second night. That wouldn't appeal to me. As the sun's rising, got this lovely glow across the moors. Fabulous. Okay, I'm breakfasted. Just a tent down now, and then when I set off in this lovely sunshine. Well, that seemed a lot of faffing around this morning to get ready, but anyway, I'm off. Just leave no trace. In this case, apart from a bit more frost where I shook the tent off. Right, onwards, let's go. This is great. What a fantastic morning. Perfect for walking across this sort of terrain. So I'm on the, if you like, the original Pennine Way route. Alfred Wainwright in his 1966 guide. This was the original route, and the Wessenden Valley route I came up was the alternate route. But what a great time to do it. And it's difficult to believe that you're sitting right in between Lancashire and Yorkshire either side of you, those big conurbations. Gorgeous morning. And of course the hard frost has meant that walking over all this, what would normally be kind of wet, boggy ground, is just ace. Just crossing here an area known as Featherbed Moss. And going back to my first Pennine Way trip in '87, this was just, yeah, it was horrific. It was at times thigh deep, crawling through peat. And what a difference it is now today. Wow. These flagstones give you fantastic progress through it. But also the whole area itself is just so much greener. So instead of a battle, it's just a joy to walk through. It's lovely. I've just stopped for 10 minutes and made myself a brew and just sat in the sunshine. What is it about sunshine that makes you feel better? I don't know. It is lovely though. So it was a nice welcome stop by this little stone just above Red Myers Reservoir, I believe. So I'm going to push on now a little bit further and walk a bit further on the Pennine Way, I think, before I drop back down to Marsden. Such a nice day. Why take a shortcut? It's lovely. Okay, this is the point where I'm going to leave the Pennine Way and head on this little track which will take me down into Marsden. So that's been a great section. I've really enjoyed that today, retracing the Pennine Way out. Very nice. Must do it again sometime, the whole thing, that is. Alright, let's get down to Marsden.